Those who walk alone often rise above, while the crowd seeks comfort. The chosen ones carve paths through the impossible. Most people spend their lives drowning in noise-distracted, controlled, and asleep. But you've felt it, haven't you? The pull away from the crowd, the cold silence of being different. Isolation isn't just something you endure, it's the battlefield where the chosen ones are forged. I learned this the hard way. One day, everything I thought was me people, my safety, my comfort was stripped away. It wasn't the loss that hurt the most, it was the loneliness. No allies, no support, just me staring into the abyss, waiting for it to swallow me. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Loneliness doesn't break the chosen ones, it builds them. While others flee from silence, we embrace it. While they seek validation, we hone in on ourselves in the dark. This is where the weak are separated from the strong, because in solitude something terrifying happens. You awaken your mind, clarify your instincts, you begin to see what others are blind to. And the worst thing for them is that they cannot stop it. They cannot control what they do not understand. That is why your existence haunts your enemies. They fear what they cannot manipulate. They hate that you do not need them. They watch from the shadows, confused, threatened, powerless. Because nothing frightens the average person more than someone who has mastered himself. When you step into your power, those who once despised you will begin to watch you in silence, wondering how you survived what should have destroyed you. They will feel the change, the way you move differently, the way you look through them, the way you no longer react, the way they expect. You are not alone in this. You are part of the few who have not only survived but evolved, who have embraced the darkness and come out of it stronger than ever. And today, I am about to reveal something that will impact you more than anything you have heard before. These are the 5 supernatural powers that separate the chosen ones from the 90% of the world, powers that make you unstoppable. But before we begin, now is the time to unlock what only the rarest of minds can understand. If you feel the burden of solitude, if you feel that you were never meant to fit in with the 90%, this is for you. Hit the like button, subscribe, and leave the number 77 in the comments if you are ready to turn isolation into unstoppable power. And trust me, if you are truly one of the chosen ones, you will not be able to look away. Every second of this will pull you deeper than you expected. Now, take it one step at a time, and by the end, you will not see yourself the same way again. Just start. Number 1, the steel mind. When the pressure is on, the chosen ones don't flinch. They watch, they wait for you to break. But the thing is, you don't break. The world is built to break you, to frustrate you, to drag you into the storm of emotions that engulfs 90% of people. They react, they explode, they crumble under the pressure, but not you, not the chosen ones. You've been through the fire, but instead of being burned, you've become stronger. Instead of being broken, you've become something they can't understand, something they can't shake, something they can't read, something they can't touch, and that haunts them. Because nothing scares the weak more than someone who refuses to be controlled by their emotions. They call you cold, they say you feel nothing, but what they don't know is that behind that silence, behind that peace, is a mind that has fought every battle imaginable, and one that most people can't stand. Silence. They drown it in noise, distraction, meaningless chatter. They run from it, because they know that if they are left alone with their thoughts for too long, they will have to face their true self. But you sat in that silence, you stared into the abyss, and when it looked back at you, you didn't flinch. You know what happens when the noise disappears, when the world goes silent, and it's just you and your thoughts. The weak panic, the chosen sharpen. Solitude is your training ground. It's where weakness dies and control is born. The battlefield is not out there, it is in your mind, and you have mastered it. You have learned the one skill that makes you untouchable. You control yourself when others cannot. People will try to push your buttons, they will try to make you react. Because if they can control how you react, they own you. But when they look into your eyes and see nothing but calm, precision, When their words and actions bounce off you like pebbles hitting steel, that is when fear creeps in. Because suddenly they realize they have no power over you. You have seen it before. In arguments when everyone is heated, you remain silent, calculating, seeing 10 steps ahead. In the chaos when others are falling apart, you remain still, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike or walk away. And the best part is, they never see it coming. The mind of a chosen one is like an ice-covered mountain. On the surface it is calm, quiet, immovable. But underneath, there is a force of nature waiting to be unleashed. It is not about suppressing emotions, it is about controlling them before they control you. You feel everything, the pain, the betrayal, the rage, but you have trained yourself to channel them, to refine them, to turn them into strength instead of weakness. And that makes you dangerous, because when most people react, you are calculating. When they become emotional, you remain calm. When they let the world pull them in all directions, you remain focused. They cannot break you, they cannot read you, and that scares them more than anything. The greatest warriors, the most powerful leaders, the most unshakable minds in history, they all had one thing in common. They knew that control of the world begins with control of yourself. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you one of the few, and the rest will never understand the true power that it gives you. Now let's move on, because the next one is even more dangerous. Number 2, the X-ray of the soul sees the invisible, exposes the truth. Most people wear masks. The chosen ones not only see through them, they tear them off. You have seen it, how people say with their mouths but their bodies betray them, how they say I am fine but the weight in their eyes screams otherwise, how they smile but their energy drips with resentment. What is obvious to you is invisible to them. That is the power of the chosen X-ray vision. While the 90% live blindly, drifting through life, believing what they are told, you see things as they are. They don't like it. It makes them uncomfortable. Because when you look at them, they feel naked, exposed. No amount of charm, deception, or pretense can fool you, and it shakes them to the core. Where does this ability come from? It is not given, it is earned. Solitude has done this to you. While others waste time chasing distractions, filling every silence with empty noise, you have watched, you have listened, you have learned. In the silence, you have become a silent observer of human nature. You have seen what most people miss, the cracks in their voices, the hesitation in their words, the tension in their shoulders. You have noticed something cold. People don't say what they mean. Most of them don't even know themselves enough to be honest. But the chosen ones we see through the fog. The world is a stage and most people are just bad actors. They act, pretend to be nice, pretend to be confident, pretend to care, but their eyes tell the truth. Their energy never lies. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the tension before a word was spoken? That's your gift. You don't just hear words, you read the air, the hidden weight between sentences. And not just the individual, you see the bigger picture, the power plays, the subtle manipulations, the real motives behind the fake smiles. People hate that you can't be fooled, it makes them nervous. They wish you would just play along, pretend you don't see what you see, but you can't. Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it again. You may have wondered, why does this ability make you so different? Why can't others see what's obvious to you? Simply because they don't want to. Most people would rather live in comfortable lies than face uncomfortable truths. They ignore the warning signs, they believe the sweet words even when their actions contradict them. They tell themselves that it's probably nothing when their instincts scream otherwise. But you believe in the invisible. That's why you can't be manipulated. That's why people can't figure out how to control you. Because before they open their mouths, you know what they're going to say. This is your weapon. The same ability that isolates you, that makes others uncomfortable, is also what keeps you safe. While others blindly walk into traps, believing everything they're told, you navigate life like a chess master, always 10 steps ahead. And the best part is, you're not only immune to deception, you can use this insight to build deeper relationships than most people will ever experience. Because just as you see through lies, you also see through genuine people. You know what it feels like to meet someone without a mask. The energy shifts, the instant connection. No fake smiles, no rehearsed words, just the bare truth. These people are rare, like you. But when two chosen ones meet, there is no need for explanation, like two warriors recognizing each other on the battlefield. That is why your presence changes the energy of any room. People feel it when you enter. Some will be drawn to you, fascinated by your depth. Others will be afraid of you, annoyed by how easily you can see through their shells. That is the power of the chosen one, the power to see beyond the surface, beyond the illusions, beyond the distractions that lead 90% of people astray. You know too much, and that makes you dangerous. So the question is, how will you use this gift? Because now that you have it, the world will never be the same again. And the next power, it's even more deadly. Let's continue. Number 3, the razor-sharp mind phenomenon, hyperfocus, instant clarity, unwavering decisions. The mind of the chosen one is a razor blade, cold, sharp, and deadly precise. While others drown in noise, you cut through it. While they hesitate, you decide, and that makes you unstoppable. Most people wander through life blindly, distracted, lost. They chase noise, clutter their minds with useless information, and waste energy on things that don't matter. They are slaves to chaos, trapped in their own confusion. They can't see clearly, they can't think straight, they hesitate, doubt, and crumble under pressure, but not you. You, the chosen one, are different. You have entered the silence that most people fear. You have cut through the distractions, walked through the storm in your own mind, and emerged with a deadly hyper-clarity. This is the weapon that separates you from the 90%. When the world panics, you remain calm. When others freeze, you move with precision. Your mind is not clouded by doubts, by fears, by the noise of the crowd. You see things for what they are, and that alone makes you dangerous. But let's be clear, this kind of clarity is not given, it is earned. Most people cannot sit with their own thoughts for 5 minutes without reaching for their phone, turning on the television, or drowning themselves in meaningless distractions. They fear silence because it forces them to face themselves. But you have entered the silence and let it break you, shape you, refine you. At first it wasn't easy. Your mind resisted, filling the void with old memories, doubts, and fears. But you stayed. You didn't run away. You let the noise inside you rise, peak, and then fade. That's when the transformation began. Your thoughts began to sort out. Your emotions calmed down. Your instincts sharpened. You began to cut through the distractions, eliminate the useless, leaving only what mattered. It was like standing in the eye of a storm. While everything around you was spinning in chaos, you remained calm, focused, in control. And that's why people didn't understand you. They wondered how you made such quick, confident decisions without hesitation. They mistook it for recklessness, but the truth was that you fought the battle inside your mind. You weighed the consequences, removed the illusions, and saw the reality that blinded them. So while they sit there thinking too much, you move, and that scares them. 90% don't understand this level of focus. They don't understand why you don't hesitate, why you don't get lost in confusion. They don't realize that while they fill their minds with useless distractions, you are refining your mind into a weapon. When you speak, you don't waste words. When you act, you don't doubt. When you make a decision, you don't look back, because you have trained your mind to see the world without distortion, to cut through the fog of hesitation, to move with surgical precision. And that's why they fear you. They can't manipulate someone who sees through their lies. They can't control someone who isn't blinded by emotions. They can't stop someone from moving with absolute certainty. That's what makes you one of the chosen ones. While the rest of us stumble through life, unsure of who we are or where we are going, you move with strength, clarity, and purpose. But let's be clear, this is not about being perfect. You will make mistakes. You will have moments of doubt. But the difference is that you will not dwell on it. The chosen ones do not wallow in confusion, they cut through it. And while the rest of the world hesitates, you will be the one standing at the finish line, calm, unwavering, unstoppable. Now let's move forward, because what comes next is even more powerful. Number 4, The echo of pain feels what others are afraid to face. They fear what they cannot hide. They smile, they pretend, they act, but under your gaze, their masks crack and their pain seeps out. Most people cannot see beyond the surface. They believe what they are shown, accept what they are told, and never suspect illusion. But the chosen ones, you don't just see people, you see through them. Your presence makes people uncomfortable, and they don't even know why. It's because they sense something different about you. While others live in ignorance, you sense what they hold back. You don't need their words to know their truth. Their energy speaks before they do. Their silence screams louder than their smiles, and their body language betrays what they try to hide. This is not something you ask for. It is something you are forced to develop, because before you can read others, you must face yourself. This power is not given to you. It is forged in solitude. When others seek distraction, you have no choice but to face every unhealed wound, every buried fear, every scar that the world has left on you, and that has changed you forever. When you walk through fire, you see the burns in others. When you fight your own demons, you see the fight in others' eyes. Pain recognizes pain, and that is what makes you dangerous. Because most people rely on deception, they lie to themselves, they lie to others, and they convince themselves that they are okay. They build walls so high that even they forget what is buried underneath. But you walk into a room, and within seconds, you have read the energy. You see the sadness behind the fake smile, the insecurity behind the arrogance, the desperation behind the confidence. They can't hide from you, and that scares them. People can't stand being exposed. Even if you don't say a word, your presence makes them uncomfortable, because deep down, they know they can't fool you. But this is what separates you from the rest. You don't use this power to manipulate, you don't use it to hurt, you use it to understand, to heal, to see beyond the noise and connect with people in a way they've never experienced before. That's why people are drawn to you. They don't always understand it, they may not even like it, but something about you feels different, real. In a world full of illusions, the chosen ones are rare. They don't play games, they see through them, and for that, you attract both admiration and fear. Some people will come to you desperately looking for someone who finally understands them. They will open up to you, tell you things they've never told anyone else, and walk away feeling lighter without even knowing why. But others, they will avoid you, they will distance themselves. They don't want to be seen, exposed, forced to face parts of themselves they've tried to bury. They feel like you're seeing through them, and they're not wrong. But in the end, it's not about them, it's about you, about your ability to feel the pain of others, not to exploit it, but to understand it, to heal it. Because when you can feel the pain of others, you can also feel their potential, their strength, their beauty. You see what they cannot see in themselves, and sometimes that alone is enough to change their lives. You don't just feel the pain, you feel the strength, the resilience, the light that lies beneath. You know that every scar has a story, every pain has a lesson, and every darkness has a light. And that is why you can connect with people on a deeper level than most people ever experience. You don't just see them, you feel them, you understand them, and you accept them, even when they cannot accept themselves. This is not weakness, this sensitivity is the ultimate weapon. Because while others are blind, you see. While they guess, you know. While they react, you understand. And when the world is full of lies, the ability to see the truth is the rarest and most powerful gift. That is why they fear you. That is why they admire you. That is why they will never forget you. And that is why you will always be different from the other 90%. Now let's move on, because this next power is even more deadly. The number 5, the alchemy of time, mastering solitude, turning time into power. Time is the enemy of 90% of people, but the ally of the chosen ones. They rush, they waste, they let it pass without realizing it. But we know that time is a resource, a tool, a weapon. It can be used to build, to create, to transform, and that is why we master it. While others run from solitude, we embrace it. While they fear silence, we hone in on it. We don't let time pass, we bend it, we break it, we forge it into something greater. While the other 90% waste their days chasing distractions, we are in the dark, honing our minds, mastering our emotions, turning solitude into an advantage they would never have. You've seen it, how people are constantly chasing validation, noise, distraction. They jump from one thing to another, always avoiding themselves. Their mind is a prison they can't escape, so they bury themselves in distractions. They don't understand the power of solitude, of silence, of self-reflection. And that is why we are unstoppable. We are the chosen ones. We are the masters of time. We are the alchemists of time. We are not limited by time, we create time. We are not controlled by time, we control time. We are not bound by time, we free time. Remember, every moment of solitude, every hour of self-discipline, all contribute to your unshakable strength. Don't waste time, turn it into a weapon, a tool to help you reach the top. If you feel this in your heart, if you know you are one of the chosen few, prove it. Leave the number 77 in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with those who need to hear this truth. Because the world is not ready for what you are about to bring.